The other day, I was going about my business when I saw a movie be recommended to me on Twitter. Usually, I'm not one who goes out of their way to watch movies. A lot of times, unless it's something that I already know I'm gonna really like, I just kind of get bored with movies halfway through, so I don't really sit through them all. But I kept seeing these raving reviews on Twitter about this movie that came out, and let's just say that the pitch got me sold. I was invested. I wanted to watch this movie. And then I saw that it was available on video on demand. So I Google the name of the movie, I type it all out in my fancy dancy search bar, and look at its video on demand options, and it's $20. It's $20. So you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say what everybody else is afraid to say. Video on demand prices are way too freaking high. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. It's not a very bold opinion. It's not a very controversial opinion. Of course, everybody would want things to be cheaper. And so, it's so astounding to me as someone who's kind of an outsider to this sort of practice. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Every time that I really want to see a movie, I just pirate it. I just yoink it. But, for legal reasons, that's a joke. It's a hypothetical. But anyways, with this movie in particular, I saw it and I'm like, I want to support it. I want to actually support the piece of art. And so pirating was off the menu for me. And so seeing this price and then seeing that this is normally how much it costs to rent a movie. It doesn't cost $20 to digitally buy a movie. It costs $20 to rent it. Seeing that, I absolutely lost my mind. There's a few defenses you can make, I assume. I think the most important one is going to be you're paying so that way you don't have to go to the movie theater to see it. And I guess that statement does have some legs to it, but $20 is a lot. And I guess the idea is supposed to be that if you rent the movie, then you can watch it with as many people as you want, and so the inflated price is to make it worth more money, or make sure to cover that cost. But I just that's not a one size fits all situation, because obviously I was just gonna watch that movie by myself. I was just gonna watch it on my computer, and so I think it's I click record, and the thing my brain keeps going back to as I'm wanting to have a conversation and bring up these multiple points into this small little video, every sentence that I make, my brain just wants to dart back to $20. It's a $20 purchase to watch a movie, not to own a movie, just to rent it. And that is so insane to me. The experience that I had with this sort of participation in media, that's such a corny way to say it. Oh my goodness. But my experience is Redbox, right? The last thing I ever used in a sense where I rented a movie was Redbox. And I don't know if you remember this about Redbox, but it's $1. It's just $1. I know at some point they raised their prices to $1.50, and then maybe Blu-rays to $2 or something like that. But that sort of that leap from a $2 rental. You know what? Let's just err on the side of caution. We'll just say $3, okay? But that leap from a $3 DVD rental or Blu-ray rental, hopping to a digital rent for $20. Thinking, with your brain here, you'd be since it's digital and you don't have to go through and use the machines, or you don't have to deal with returning, and you don't have to deal with physical media, it should be cheaper. But no, it's not cheaper. It's nearly 10 times as expensive. And that is just bonkers to me. And even, let's skip Redbox. Let's go back to freaking Blockbuster, bro. That's still around the same price as Redbox. And so the idea that video on demand is supposed to be this beautiful, wonderful thing, that it's oh wow, you can access it from anywhere. Ooh, you don't have to drive to a random freaking McDonald's or a Walmart or a Walgreens and put in your credit card and get this DVD that's already covered in scratches just because you want to watch Alvin and the Chipmunks. No, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Instead, you just get it instantly. for the small price of $20. Oh, it hurts. And you know, like I said, there is a little bit of leeway I guess I can have because with this movie and like many other movies, it's like this thing that is happening like concurrently with its theatrical release. But I really don't feel like that's much of an excuse anymore. Like, it feels like it's not a change in the market because the market and the audience and the supply and demand is changing. It feels like a change in the market because they want to scrape more money off of you. And, you know, scrape is the wrong word because $20, that's 2 movie tickets. That's 2 movie tickets. Like, I could go see the movie twice. I mean, you know, like, in some instances, I could see it thrice. And, like, if it was like a day-and-day release with the movie theaters, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, especially if you have, like, a family of kids, right? And you're wanting to go see, like, a new movie. And, like, doing the $20, letting them watch on the TV, maybe that's a little bit more of the better option. But, like, with this movie and with many other movies, the video on demand wasn't a day-and-day release thing. They've already had it in the theaters. And so this isn't like a theatrical release price. This is the, well, you know, it's done its run through theaters. Here it is. Here it is on video on demand. Eat it up. Nom, 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 nom. But yeah, it's just nuts to me. And it reminds me about my other experience that I kind of withheld it because I wanted to save it to the end of the video. But the number one way I used to rent media wasn't even Redbox or Blockbuster. It was, I don't think I've ever used Blockbuster. I think the most I've ever done was there was like a Blockbuster like thing called like Family Video. And I like went and checked out Sonic and the Lost Rings or Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Wii. There, and then I liked the game so much that my parents got it for me for Christmas or something, I think. But the actual way that I usually, you know, rent or borrow media is through my local library, because most libraries have a really, really large collection of like Blu-ray and DVD. And so I think the biggest reason why I don't really have any sort of like culture or tradition to go see movies in theaters is because, like, you know, I'd want to watch a movie, and then my parents would just type it in on the library and then, like, put a hold on it. And, you know, it's not the perfect way to watch media, because, like, you know, sometimes you have to wait a bit. But, boy howdy, it sure got the job done. And if you're someone who really doesn't have the means, the desire, or the equipment to sail the 7 seas when it comes to media, maybe check and see what your library has, you know? Because it's freaking free, bro. It's freaking free. Peace and love. iSource signing out.